Thank you, lovely being, for joining me in this self-rediscovery. You too are a lovely being. Hello, lovely beings. Welcome back to You Two Are a Lovely Being. I am Lee Sunshine, and I'm so happy that you're tapping in and you're tuning in today. This is You Two Are a Lovely Being, a self-exploration podcast, self-reflective space where I share some sentiments of life and things that I have been thinking about, things that I've been feeling, and yeah. So this particular series that I've been sharing this year is called Energy in Motion, and this is the third podcast episode for Energy in Motion, aka Emotion. Yeah, today's talk will be about bliss and how to root yourself in your bliss if that is something that you desire. As I said, this is a part of a ongoing series here on You Two Are a Lovely Being. The first two previous podcasts were Enraged and Anger as the Catalyst, and In Love and Open Heart. And today's talk will be In Bliss, a state of being. Let's get into it. My intention for this series is to explore energy in motion, aka emotion, to explore emotions through art and spoken word. For those of you who are new, I am an artist and I'm also a poet. I've really been tapping into writing this year and expressing myself through poetic words, and I've been writing a lot, and I've been really excited to share my poetry in a more holistic manner by coupling it with my artwork. So along with this podcast, I have a new painting called InBliss by the same name, and the poem that I will be reading was inspired by this painting. And yeah, so let's get into it. Before I share the poem, I just want to establish a tone of bliss. I will be talking about bliss. So what is bliss? Bliss is a noun, and it means perfect happiness and great joy. And I've been on the journey of pursuing my joy for a couple of years now. I used to live kind of on autopilot. I did things that made me happy, but I wasn't truly living in my joy and feeling like I was in a blissful experience. And I've been trying to pull more of that into my day-to-day life. And this poem has really been inspiring me to root myself in my joy, in my happiness, regardless of external circumstances or, me trying to get in my own way at times. So without further ado, here is In Bliss, a state of being. I try to see the beauty in everything. How could you not when God's creations are everywhere? The sun in the sky, grass beneath my feet, feeling grounded, rooted in the I am that I am. Nature is what I am, and bliss is where I tend to be. In bliss, I am free, flowing through life with a stillness, joy meeting me at every turn, peace within mind, a heart filled with gratitude. In bliss is where I want to be. Here, right now, find bliss. When my mind strays or a cloud overhangs, I remember in bliss is where I want to be. So I say hello to the clouds, embracing the now, what is, instead of what I wish not to be. In bliss, I find peace in my reality. No stress, just happiness. Through faith in the Most High, God holds my hand as I walk along my path, keeping in stride. In bliss is where I am. And that is in bliss, a state of being that felt so good to share and just to emote. And I really feel it. Like I'm really feeling my words. And sometimes it's after I read something I've written, I really be like, wow, I wrote that. And not in a like, oh my God, I wrote that. Like, wow, I'm so awesome. Yes, I'm awesome, but those words came through me, you know? I was just an open channel. And after staring at my painting and really pouring love into creating it and reflecting on and thinking about what outside of this visual image, which I'll show for those of y'all watching this on YouTube. I can show you the painting. One momento. This is in bliss, a state of being, and yeah, inspired. It was inspired by the poem that you just heard. For those of you listening on the podcast, go check out You Two Are a Lovely Being on Instagram. You can see the painting, or go watch the YouTube version and you can see the painting. But as I was working on this piece, I was trying to put myself in my state of bliss. I'm like, what really makes me happy? You know, how can I tap into that even if I'm not feeling it? So I started practicing like just getting into my flow state, getting into my happy place, and making my happy place within, and not circumstantial, and not, oh, what's going on, what are other people? No, it all starts on the inside. So I was like, okay, what really puts me in the flow? I love music, so let's get some music going. I love tea, so let's get some tea. Like, I love being in the sunshine. Let's paint in the sun. Let's get the atmosphere and my vibes right so that I can be in this state of being. And then after painted for a couple of weeks, I finished my piece and I just stared at her. And then these words flowed right through me. And I started looking into bliss, like what is bliss? Started listening to some Buddhist philosophy and started listening to learning more about the Tao and natural ways of being. And I truly believe, like, when you look at children, they're a prime example of a natural way of being. And how are children naturally, when they're not being controlled and told how to be? They're happy. They're in their joy. They do not suppress their feelings. They express themselves freely. Like, children are really here to teach us, y'all. Like, look to the kids, okay? Look to the children. But what I really found in this, and the more that I repeat it, I pulled the poem out yesterday because I was having a day. I was just feeling really frustrated because I was taking things personal. Y'all know how that go. But what are we in the practice of? Not taking things personally, because it really does take away from your living experience. And yeah, I'm saying hello to the clouds, and instead of looking at the clouds and just festering that they're there, I'm trying to make peace with what is so that I can just be happy and make room for what I really want to be experiencing, which is bliss, which is joy, no stress, being calm. So this poem is a compilation of just reminders to self and reminders for you all, the lovely being listening and tuning in with me right now, to be rooted in what it is that brings you joy. And to as a reminder as well, that everything else, like a lot of things are small, you know? When you look at your life, like in retrospect, things that were consuming you and that you were so like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But then time goes and it literally becomes irrelevant. I've been bringing that this will be a relevant mindset to my day to day, or at least I'm trying. It's really hard, honestly. Like yesterday, it was hard because I was really feeling frustrated, and I had to take a moment to just be with myself. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go be alone. I'm gonna go sit outside. I did my woosah. I took some deep breaths, and then I recited my poem to myself because there's power in word. Yes, reading it is powerful, but speaking it really helped reset my mind in that moment to be like, why am I mad? What are you frustrated about? It's a beautiful day. It's a Sunday. I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm healthy. My life is great. Like that helps. Like it's rooting me in the now so that I'm able to see the bigger picture, which is that don't sweat the small stuff. Like not letting things that feel like an inconvenience take away from your living experience. Like don't let the inconvenience become the focus, you know, because it takes you away from your joy, and that's what keeps us going, you know. That's a part of our life force, our purpose, chasing our bliss, chasing your joy, chasing what makes you happy. I feel like that's an awesome pursuit, you know, being in the pursuit of joy. And I'm just looking at my little notes here to kind of keep myself on track. Um, yeah. So as I said, this poem was inspired by my painting InBliss, and as I was painting her, I put myself in the mindset of like, when I am really in my joy, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And as I said in the poem, nature is what I am, and in bliss is where I want to be, and bliss is where I am. And being in nature, surrounding myself with natural things, that helps root me in that awareness of I can be and feel happy no matter what. Like I can tap into that inner peace and that inner joy in any moment, even if I'm not feeling peaceful. You know, like yesterday when I was feeling frustrated, reciting these words brought me right back to, oh snap, like I'm living my best life. Why are you pressed? Why are we stressed at all about things, you know? Things outside of the self, things involving other people, because I've really been trying to work on detachment as well, and like not letting things outside of me impact me, you know? Because nobody, like, it's not, I don't know. I don't know how to articulate what I'm thinking at this moment, but y'all, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But I'm really in the practice of being free and uninhibited, okay? So, whatever that looks like for you, start practicing it more if you feel so called. Um, because focusing on the the frustrations, the anger, the inconveniences, or even just not allowing yourself to be happy. Like I feel like I used to do that a lot growing up. Like I would suppress my happiness. Like I was a generally like happy, positive person, like outwardly, but I feel like I didn't really allow myself to feel happiness and to like let it overcome me. Whereas with other emotions like sadness or feeling low or feeling irritated, feeling angry, um, those were easier to feel on a 100% level. Whereas my happiness, I felt like I had to keep some of it in. Like I could be happy, but I can't really be happy, you know? But now I've been in the practice of like, yeah, I'm happy. You know, I'm gonna do whatever. I want to shout for joy. I'm shouting. I want to yay. I'm doing it. I want to dance. I feel like dancing and being in a celebratory vibe. I'm doing it. Like the other day, I was at the park with my partner, and we were like taking pictures and chilling. We were smoking, just enjoying being outside. And we had some music playing, and I just started dancing. Like, were there other others? No, but I felt like dancing because that's in that moment what I felt like was really going to add to my happiness and my joy. And doing things like that, like even though I may look weird or people might be judging from observing and witnessing me, it doesn't matter because it makes me happy, you know? So do the things that make you happy. And I'd like to I'd like to do a little bit more of a dissecting of the poem itself, and then we're gonna wrap up for today's talk. Um, so I touched on nature is what I am, and being outside and around natural elements really does help to boost like positive energy. I feel like, um, and I've spoken on stillness and returning to stillness during times of chaos and feeling like you aren't in alignment with yourself. And being in bliss and finding your joy, chasing your joy really helps with this as well. Because returning to stillness, you don't have a choice but to let yourself just be. And once passing through, you can actually see it. And it's a nice self reflective practice. I feel so good right now. Like the sun is shining in the window. It's drenching my face. It may not be super warm outside today, but I'm feeling it, and I'm so happy that you're tapping in and listening, and I appreciate you. So back to the poem. I can stay on track. I promise. Um, I said that in bliss I am free. Joy is meeting me at every turn. I keep peace within my mind. I keep a heart filled with gratitude. And even when my mind strays, I remember that being in bliss, this feeling, this sentiment, this mindset is exactly where I want to be. So that is where my mind should go. Because where your mind goes, your heart follows and your spirit will pay attention. Our mind leads everything. So really, this is all just about mindset, you all. It's all about mindset. And it takes practice. I know this can sound a lot very like, ooh, I don't know a better word for it, or like just very depending on where you are in your life. This may sound like, okay, you're just telling me to be happy. Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling people. It is okay to be happy, y'all. Be happy, be joyful, be in good spirits, and remind yourself of that good feeling when you do not feel good. Because when you don't feel good, I was listening to an Abraham Hicks video earlier today when I woke up, and she was saying when you are feeling bad, quote unquote, you are not in alignment with the way that you actually want to be. Which is what, y'all? Joyful, happy, peaceful, calm, not stressed, because stress is a killer. Stress will literally eat away at you and cause lots of dis-ease. So reminding yourself of these things, even when it feels awkward or forced or like this isn't doing anything, it does do something. Repetition is key. Repeating positive things to yourself, reminding yourself of the positive, of the light, of your truth, and not the things that you don't want to be true, which are usually negative and aren't from our own mind. It's things that come from outside of us and they come within. And it's easy to internalize things that are said to you, mentioned, or expressed to you, you know, especially by loved ones, people that are in close proximity, or people that you come in passing. But again, the goal here is to not internalize what it is outside of you, but to instead focus on your inner light, focus on your inner being and what brings you joy, and pursuing that joy so that in those moments of dis-ease and things are just being disrupted, you can ground yourself and come back to the reality of like, I don't want to feel like this. Like I'm on the up and up. I'm trying to be positive, you know? So yeah, yes, say hello to your woes and wish them farewell. Because when you focus on the bad, that's where your focus goes. That's where your energy goes. That's what flows into your life. So focusing on the good, focusing on good things coming your way, focusing on what does make you happy and your joy, it really does make a difference in life. And this isn't to say you should be like toxically positive and just ignore what's really happening in your life, which I hope good things are occurring for each and every one of you, by the way. I'm saying this as if like everyone listening, including myself, is like going through shambles all the time. But really, that's probably not, I hope that's not the reality, and that this is just a reminder of how you can and are feeling on a day-to-day basis, if that makes sense. So to conclude, At the end of the poem, I say, I embrace the now, what is instead of what I wish not to be. In bliss, I find peace in my reality. No stress, just happiness. And really, this is the meat, because oftentimes when I'm feeling disgruntled, I'm frustrated, anger, whatever, it's because I'm up here. I'm in my mind replaying things that are no longer occurring. So they're in the past. They're not in the present, which kind of means they're not. It's not real. Like, it's no longer real. You're just manifesting what was, and things that made you not feel good. So instead, root yourself in the present moment as much as you can, as much as humanly possible. Um, because it's so easy to get caught up in the mind. Um, and I ended with, through faith in the Most High, God is the Most High. God holds my hand as I walk along my path, keeping in stride, which is something I say to myself every single day, because I am reminding myself and saying in prayer and speaking an affirmation of the fact that I am being guided along my path, my individual path. And along this path is ease, love, positivity, happiness, joy, good spirits, good fortune, abundance. That's the path that I'm walking on. Your path looks different. Everyone's path looks different. But reminding oneself that you are not in this alone. You are never alone. No matter if you're spiritual, if you believe, non-believer, I feel like for those of you tuning in, you're a believer. You have some type of faith base. I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer in spirit. And reminding yourself of this, you are never alone. And it's as simple as asking for help. God will send you guidance, help, assistance, through people, just through thought, just being present. And being present is the key. Because again, this all goes back to mindset. It's really cyclical, or circular, however you want to think of it. I just imagine it's all like a spiral. Like, everything just wraps into one another. But you're never alone. And your joy and your happiness is right there. It's at your fingertips in each and every moment. And yeah, so in bliss is where I am. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening. And I pray that these words touched your heart. And if they did, share this podcast. Feel free to share with someone who may need to hear this as well, who needs a reminder of their joy, and that they too are fully in control of harvesting it and feeling it and tapping into it each and every day. So that is all. Yeah, thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. May you have a lovely rest of your day. As always, love, sunshine, peace. You two are a lovely being.